When I, female 30, first married my husband, 36, and moved in with him, I decided to give my stepdaughter, young teen, my old dresser and nightstand from my parents' house. My set was much nicer and she loved it, so we got rid of her old dresser during the move. It's been about 4 years now, and my husband and I have a toddler daughter, and we're expecting another girl. We've been co-sleeping with our daughter since she was born, and she has shared our room, but now we need to move her into her own room. I've always wanted my children to have my old things from childhood, including the dresser set. When we gave my stepdaughter the dresser, I made it clear to my husband that our children would use it once we had children since it was mine. He agreed and still agreed with me, so we discussed it with my stepdaughter. She was upset that we're taking it away. We tried to ask her to downsize her things so that she could store her clothes in the closet, but she refused, saying we should just buy a new dresser for our daughter. So after she left, we decided to leave her clothes on her bed and take the dresser out ourselves. After she returned the next weekend, she waited until we left the house and moved the dresser back into her room. My husband had another discussion with her, and we let her know that that was unacceptable. Now her mother's involved and is calling us, telling us that we're being unreasonable and should just buy the new set. The thing is, my husband and I have also decided to stop buying new clothes for my stepdaughter as we're already sending her mother child support, and we need both the money and the space. Once she grows out of her clothes, she will not need a dresser, so there's no point in buying a new one when we need to save money. Am I the idiot? I'm taking back the dresser that I gave her a few years ago so that my daughter can have it, and she's refusing to let us have it back. I don't think asking her to bring clothes from her mother's is wrong, as she only visits every other weekend. You are the idiot. You and your husband. That poor kid. You're making a massive difference between her and your child, and it's gross. She existed when you married your husband. You don't get to treat her like an inconvenient third wheel. And shame on your husband for actively going along with this crap. How much are we betting that the stepdaughter stops all visitation with these horribly unreasonable and selfish people? I would. I bet that poor little girl is feeling so unwelcome. They could have easily bought her a new set to ensure she felt important. And the younger half-sisters, those small children don't care what's in their room. It'll most likely get ruined by small children anyways. At least in the older daughter's room, she's at an age where she can respect the items in her room and look forward to their longevity. Talk about cruelty. You gave her the dresser and nightstand without telling her the deal behind it. It's definitely a slap in the face to your stepdaughter like, oh sorry, my real child is here now, so you're not important enough to have this. The fact that you aren't even suggesting getting her a new one of her own, and you're just taking hers is horrible. OP, you're leaning into some unpleasant stereotypes about step-parents. Yeah, not spending money on her because of your new baby? Are you trying to be the evil stepmom? Because congrats, you're nailing it. You're talking about your stepkid as if she doesn't mean anything. The dresser is in your house. Who cares which one of your daughters is using it? And you moved it when she wasn't there? Sheesh, go to some estate sales and buy another dresser. I wonder if they're also taking the stepdaughter's room. She says they could use the space and wants her stepdaughter only to have enough clothes to fit in the closet. I have no idea who you think you are, but you're one thing, an extremely terrible stepmother who's very selfish and only cares about her flesh and blood. Your husband's still required to buy his own daughter things, even though he's paying child support. My oldest daughter, 28, and I, 62, have always had a rough relationship. I had PTSD after fleeing my home country, and looking back, I might have also had postpartum depression after she was born. I admit I've been harder and more strict with her than I did with her younger sister, my youngest daughter, 24. I raised my daughter with outdated non-Western principles. I see that now. But back then it seemed right because I was raised the same way. My daughter has been struggling with depression, and in my attempt to understand why, we got into an argument. I've tried to talk about it a few times, but she never wanted to. Today she was upset about her grades. She's a master student. She passed all of her exams, but she gets upset and frustrated when she doesn't get the highest score. I was trying to calm her down and cheer her on, At one point I asked her, "Why are you like this?" She got furious and told me that her dad and I were the reason why, that her whole life she had to earn our approval. She brought up the time when she scored middle education instead of higher education. Our country has a 3-school system depending on your degrees. My husband and I were angry and disappointed. We didn't talk to her for 2 weeks, and she couldn't eat with us at the dinner table. Instead, she ate in the kitchen, standing up, or would put her plate in front of her door and knock. I'm very embarrassed looking back at it, and when she brought it up, I got tears thinking that I did that to my child. I told her that looking back, we see that negative reinforcement wasn't the right way. I told her that we fled our home and started over elsewhere for her future. So it was and is important to us that she and her sister get high degrees, good jobs, and good salaries, so they have a better life than we had. It was frustrating to see that she could do better than average or middle, and we mishandled it. I then said, but we could have never known it would have such effects on your mental health when you got older. Your sister was raised the same way and isn't so insecure, so it's also a little bit you as a person. The conversation then escalated. She asked me where I got the nerve to blame her personality, while her whole life we made her feel like she had to earn our love and approval. She said this affected her life in every aspect, and that's why she has depression. She called me an idiot and said that I was saying she had a weak personality. I know we made horrible mistakes, and I'm ashamed of some of the things that I've done, but I feel that it's true. Her sister was pushed the same way and isn't so insecure that it affects her mental health. She isn't insecure at all. My husband said there was no reason to bring that up, so I believe it's not entirely our parenting style that caused her depression. Am I the idiot for saying that to her? Edit. I admit that her sister was given more freedom regarding her social life. She was allowed to hang out with her friends outside of school more than her older sister. However, when it comes to school and grades, we were as strict, but my youngest did better in high school than her older sister. That's also why my youngest was allowed to go out more, and we wouldn't let the oldest go out either as punishment, or because we felt she needed to study more. You are the idiot. What you're describing isn't a parenting style. It's mental and emotional abuse, and is 100% the reason for your daughter's mental health. I bet it's affected your other daughter as well. She's just better at hiding it. We didn't do a great job raising you and made you feel like you were never good enough, but it's still mostly your fault that you weren't and still aren't good enough. That's what she heard. Agreed. She knows OP's love has always been conditional, and OP just proved that it still is. Forcing her to eat alone and stand for 2 weeks is terrible, and probably only the tip of the iceberg. Listen to what your child is saying, apologize, and stop trying to justify your crappy actions. Right? Why are you so insecure? Asked the person who ensured her daughter didn't feel safe and secure, punished her for not being good enough, and is still comparing her to her sister, who did not get the same harsh treatment. You shaped her personality. Your abuse shaped her personality. She's 100% right. You did this to her. You made a broken adult who you convinced wasn't worthy of love, and you'll have to live the rest of your life with that. I, 28 female, am a hairstylist. I usually do blowouts, wolf cuts, pixies, and whatever you can think of. I also do hairstyles like cornrows, box braids, lemonade braids, etc. My roommate, 26 female, has her birthday coming up, and since I didn't want to mess up the gift I was giving her, I just asked her if there was anything specific she wanted for her birthday. She told me she wanted knotless braids down on her butt, with a highlight, beads, etc. Although I'm a white woman, I was adopted by a black family when I was 4, so I do have experience with black hair. It's probably what I'm best at when it comes to hairstyles. I told her I'd be happy to book her an appointment and would charge her $35 an hour, which was very generous because the hairstyle she was asking for could take 6 to 9 hours. Braiding is quite literally the McCamey manner for your wrist and hands. She frowned at me, and I asked her if everything was okay. She told me she was just disappointed that I had to charge her, even though her birthday was coming up and because we were roommates. I told her that this hairstyle takes hours, and there was no way I would do it free for anybody. She told me I was exaggerating and would take way less because I'm a professional. I told her that the least I could do, no matter how professional I am, is 4 hours and 30 minutes, and I could lower the price to $25 an hour. She called me unbelievably selfish and told me she would get a messy bun on her birthday. I was upset that I denied giving her the hairstyle she wanted for free, but at the same time, it's a very difficult style and takes a very long time to do. But I feel like I should have done it on the house since it was for her birthday, which is tomorrow. So please tell me, am I the idiot? Edit. I did buy my roommate $400 worth of things. I can't give her my time since I'm completely booked, but I also did buy her a pretty wig she really liked. She somehow found it, my fault for hiding it in the closet, and some clothes as well as a purse. Also $157 in online purchases. Here's where I am with this. You asked her what she wanted for her birthday. She told you, and then you said, okay, but you have to pay for it. That's not a birthday gift. The polite options were do it for free or just say you can't do it. Normally I'd be so with you on this, but you asked about a birthday present. Nobody's the idiot for saying that they want something for their birthday, even if it's unrealistic and not feasible. Sorry, you are the idiot. I disagree. If OP asked what the roommate wanted and the roommate asked for a new iPhone, would that be okay? What about a diamond ring? It would be best if you were reasonable with your request, even when asked what you want. OP explained how complicated that style is and how long it would take, and offered it at a discount as her gift. The roommate responded by arguing with her, the expert, by denying that it would take that long, and being whiny about OP saying no to doing it for free. The roommate was very rude and entitled, not the idiot. I, 23 male, have an infant son with my current girlfriend, 19. I moved back in with my mom 6 months ago because I couldn't keep up with the payments on my apartment. My mom is allowing us to stay in the extra room. I work full-time and I make $20 an hour, but between me providing for my son and my girlfriend not working, I've needed the extra help. And since my mom lives here and we're all in the same household, I sometimes ask her for help with babysitting. This isn't often. Since we are family and live together, I should be able to get some help with him. It is my first child, and it's extremely overwhelming. I didn't know how hard this was going to be. My mom refused, saying that I was using her for babysitting too much, saying that my girlfriend and I were becoming a burden to her. She expressed that since I was living with her for the first 3 months rent-free, it's becoming frustrating and haven't been able to pay the back rent that she keeps asking me for. And she told me that she's behind 2 checks because her job messed up her pay when she first started. I told her that I understood, but I reminded her that I pay for gas on her car that I use and that I go half on car insurance with her since we share her car. My mom said that she feels I'm taking advantage of her because she feels I can't manage my money correctly, asked to borrow too much, and asked for babysitting. But I told her that I don't feel I asked for much and told her I didn't understand why she wouldn't make time to help babysit her grandson when it's clear we're struggling. My girlfriend doesn't have a relationship with her family, so we don't have any extra help there. So my mom is all we have, and I'm struggling. So I'm trying to get my girlfriend to get a job, and my mom can babysit for us in the meantime. Our son was planned, and I didn't know it was going to be this hard, or I would have planned better. Am I the idiot? Edit, for clarification, the rent my mom references is the $1,650 3 months back rent that I owe her. I'm still giving her the current rent of $550 a month. I pay for gas I use. Rounds of applause, everybody. Give it up for OP. You are the idiot. Your mother didn't decide to have unprotected intimacy. It's your and your girlfriend's job to figure out childcare. You owe your mom money and she's struggling. Paying for gas you used and going half on car insurance isn't enough. I can tell you that. So, let me get this straight. You're living in your mom's house rent-free, using her car and utilities, and you also want her to babysit while your girlfriend does what exactly? You are a grown adult and haven't been able to pay any rent despite having 3 months free to save and borrowing additional money from her? Idiot, this is why you don't go around knocking 18-year-olds up. Worse, in the edit, He says she's charging him $550 a month for rent. That's around 20% of his paycheck after taxes. Either he's irresponsible with his money because he's young, or gambling is involved. OP, even without the babysitting, your mom is giving you a super good deal. Imagine in your head, for just a moment, the idea of her asking the three of you to leave. Then get a grip, get your mom some flowers, and never bother her about babysitting again. Also, your girlfriend isn't working. Why do you need your mom as a babysitter? You don't. Seriously, your girlfriend needs a job. Otherwise, she would be able to watch the baby independently, right? Tonight's installment of Two Broke Adults with a Planned Child, living with a parent or in-law, and complaining about their living arrangements. Move out or stop complaining. Problem solved. I recently attended my sister's wedding solo. At the reception, there was a slower type of dance when I saw this gorgeous woman by herself. I went up to her and asked if she would like to dance. She mentioned that she was recently separated, so she wasn't looking for anything romantic, but agreed to dance with me anyways. We then danced for a couple of songs and seemed to really enjoy each other's company. We actually ended up exchanging numbers, and she left to go home. As I went outside for a smoke, I noticed a guy glaring at me. I asked if he wanted a smoke, and he told me that I should lose her number. So I ignored him and went back inside. I asked my sister who that guy was, and she told me that it was that woman's recent ex-husband. Technically, they were just separated, not yet divorced. When I told my sister what happened, she said that the ex was a friend of the groom, and that's why he still ended up going to the reception. She told me that I probably shouldn't be dancing with someone who was so recently separated. I don't know. I feel like I really didn't do much wrong, but I do feel bad I might have caused a scene with her ex. Am I the idiot? Not the idiot. Too many people in this story are acting as if the woman has no agency in this situation. She chose to dance with you. You didn't know anything about her marital status. She isn't his property. They're separated. Whatever she does is none of his business. How long after the separation until someone's allowed to dance? At least a year. Unless it's international tango, then a minute should be adequate. The ex-husband guy is an idiot and a creep. He has absolutely no say over what you or his ex does. That macho lose her number threat from her ex will be exactly why he's her ex in the first place. It's just a freaking dance, for God's sake. She told you she's separated. And regardless of that fact, neither of you did anything wrong. It's not like you went to dinner, or you fell in love so you immediately dropped on one knee and asked her to marry you that instant, or the instant her divorce was final. God! The standard set for women that are separated sucks. The guys can do whatever the heck they want, but if a woman even danced with someone, she's a criminal? What is this, 1950? Is she supposed to don a habit and hide in the corner? Neither of you did anything wrong, ex being there or not.